ever seen. And for that matter, a bad television show. We started with the shot of my back, by the way, Ryan. Oh, I didn't mean to use your name, actually. Sorry about that. So yeah, this is a fantasy football show unlike any others. On the phone right now from Argentina, you can see his picture on the screen. Can you say hello?
Hello!
There he is. Awesome. So yeah, this is a fantasy football show that will basically benefit no one else. The idea is essentially this guy in Argentina and I weekly, we talk about all of our situations going on with fantasy football. And so now this season we're going to do it in a recorded situation and live in front of all three of you until you realize that it's hard to watch. So first up, do you have anything you want to add there from Argentina?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. This is going to be completely worthless to anybody else.
Yeah, indeed. So
unless you're in our leagues, and then you're going to hear our insight.
Right, because then you might figure out something that we might be doing or something like that. So if they figure that out, they'll be the first probably.
They'll probably know better than even we do what we're thinking.
Exactly. Well, so the first league that we're in, well, before I say that, I also thought of something earlier. I was like, there's ways to ruin sports, and that's talk radio about sports and fantasy sports, and we're trying to combine the two of those together into one show to ruin everybody. First up is the Dynasty League. This is the first thing for us. This means we are in a league that we get to keep all of our players every year for the foreseeable future, I guess forever. There's 12 teams in it, and we drafted 28 rounds of teams not too long ago. Or I guess it was the end of June or July.
End of July.
End of July. So, yeah, it's different in that regard because we're going to keep all of our players. It's not a keeper league, which you just keep a couple, but we're going to keep everybody on our team. So we drafted with that in mind, rookies and good players. Is there anything that you can say about the scoring that's different? No kicker.
We receive it's 6 points for quarterbacks, touchdowns. It's a PPR league. It starts 3 receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, 2 flexes that can be running back, wide receiver, tight end. We don't use kickers, but other than that, I think most of the scoring's pretty basic.
Yeah, and like I said, we drafted 28 people. That's going to be cut back to 25 before Wednesday night's game, and then after the season we'll cut to 21, but whatever. So I guess what I should have done was pull up. I've got my roster pulled up, my full team, as of maybe yesterday or something. I think I have Ed Dixon on here that I dropped, and I picked up Jordan Cameron. But other than that, we're looking at, as far as Dynasty goes, Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson I drafted in the 26th round or something and totally got lucky on that guy. Got Forte and Ray Rice. They'll start. I've got Hakeem Nicks, still not practicing, but he'll be fine. I'm nervous about my tight ends. I don't know who to start this week. I mean, is Jermaine Gresham versus the Ravens a bad idea?
In general, the Ravens have had a history of being really tough on tight ends.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh both. And
we don't really know how long it's going to be until Jermaine Gresham is actually up to game speed.
Andy Dalton's arm
got
injured. Maybe he isn't as effective as what he is.
Yep. So it's weird. I don't know. I'm interested in Martellus Bennett almost. I mean, I guess Dustin Keller seems like an interesting play too, just because they can't throw the ball more than 15 yards.
The really only thing I have to say about Martellus Bennett is he will give you advice on life just as bad as information we will give you on fantasy football.
I literally stopped following him on Twitter a couple of years back. It got too ridiculous. He's funny if you can handle it, but it's got too much.
thought
I'm
that you have
hurting
to go
at
with Gresham. Gresham's a better talent.
Yeah, and that's I'm hurting there. There's no doubt, and wide receiver. So my opponent is the Juggernauts, and I just pulled their thing up. Oh, you know what though? I'm not putting it on the screen. This whole time I haven't had it on the screen. I've had it on a different screen. So whatever. All right. So they're gonna start Matt Ryan at quarterback. DeMarco Murray.
I do believe they are the second highest rated projected team
For this week,
out of the teams this week.
after me.
Are you the highest? I thought maybe Reaper Crew is the highest.
I was
That
at like
could be wrong.
198, which I thought was completely shocking because I don't think it's very representative. Reaper Crew is 182, and I'm at 198.
Okay.
So I thought that was funny because we'll see. They're putting a lot of stock in my wide receivers and stuff, so. Hakeem Nicks, 28 points. Malcolm Floyd, 20. Brandon LaFell, 10. So.
I also thought it was interesting that he did pick up your beloved Ed Dixon as well.
I noticed that, yeah. Which is fine because I went through the other league that all those guys are in with us, and nobody had Ed Dixon. So I felt he was semi-safe. And this guy owns Rob Gronkowski, so.
Yeah, he'll never play. Dixon,
Yeah, it will never be an issue, basically. But he's got Calvin Johnson, and I love Pierre Garçon he has, Deshaun Jackson, Reggie Wayne, or whatever. Toby Gerhart, he's starting Gerhart and D'Angelo Williams at this point. We'll see. So.
Yeah, he definitely has more running back issues. But yeah, he'll have Gerhart, D'Angelo Williams, and DeMarco Murray starting for sure.
Yeah.
With D'Angelo probably getting that flex spot, one of those flex spots, and then a receiver getting the other one.
So the next thing I want to show, I don't know if I'm going to win that one. I'll just say that, I don't know. I don't feel as terrible about it now that I see some projections and have actually looked at his team, but he's got some monsters.
The other nice thing that is one of the strategies that we had going into our draft, which was taking several defenses that prevent other teams from being able to have defenses stockpiled.
That's right.
He's one of them that has really struggled with the defense and only has one and doesn't have a great matchup against Pittsburgh with the Bengals.
And that's a really different strategy than, for sure, I've kind of learned it from you. But this is the first time I've ever cared about defenses. So, as far as like having them on my team.
Yeah, it'll just with this dynasty thing, I think it's applicable. I think with the other leagues.
Yep.
You know, you pick them up, you drop them.
Well, the next thing I'm going to show is your logo for this. You know, you like my shiny buckles on my shoes?
Yes, I'm very proud of my logo.
That's on screen right now. It's got some sort of a busted bottle of lager upside down or something, and he's fighting Irish, as is your team.
Yes.
D for Argentina, fighting Irish, which is now on the screen, and so is your little icon with your face saying on the phone from. So
I do believe that logo is actually something that's from some biker gang. Up in northern, they're probably a bunch of gay Irishmen or something that I've chosen to steal their logo from that will probably come to my house and beat me up when they find me.
Right, based on the websites you usually go to, I would imagine that's correct.
Yeah.
So, you've got Drew Brees, no question there. I guess you're starting Jamal Charles and
Bradshaw. And
right.
At this point, I'm feeling I'm not sure about Trent Richardson or not. I went more heavy on running backs at the beginning, and went a little heavy with my quarterback and tight end, with getting Gates in the draft, so that my wide receivers really suffered from all of it. So I've got a big jumbled mess at receiver. But right now, it sounded like Richardson's going to play, and even if he isn't getting the full workload, I think I'm going to just go with him anyway. Because otherwise, I have Jonathan Stewart, and he's not going to play. I'm pretty sure of that. So there's no way I'm touching the Washington Redskins and their crazy mess with all they do with running backs.
Yep.
And in fact, I'm just considering just dropping Alfred Morris in general because I still have to cut down to 3 different players to get down to where it's at. And I just don't want really anything to do with the Washington Redskins running back situation and having to deal with that each and every week.
Yeah, that seems to be the prevailing attitude about their backfield for sure.
But I like my receivers upsides. I got mostly young guys and things like that, so that maybe not necessarily this year they'll be dominant, but in another year or two, since we do get to keep them forever, I'll have some guys that I can really rely on. The other thing in the draft that I did was I was able to trade around to get some stuff, and I accumulated a lot of future picks, so that next year I actually have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fifths. So I'll be able to pick up a high-end wide receiver to start next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you think at first I wasn't sure what that value of like the rookie draft would be, but if you think about it, our rookie draft this year would have been loaded, you know, with quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers. So.
Yep. So I think there'll be some room there.
Yeah. And so then whoops, let me take your little picture off. I'm showing the Bushwhackers next to you. Bushwhackers, by the way, do not have a full lineup set yet.
And they are the only other team other than my gracious host and I that have not cut down our team.
I think, right, I think for different reasons probably.
I'm guessing that the Bushwhackers guy, I don't think he's done anything with his team for about 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right.
And he may not even remember that he's in this league. So
yeah.
I'm kind of hoping for that when I play him.
Well, no doubt. And, you know, you've got him, he looks like as projected, and I've got you with Breeze, Bradshaw, Charles, Richardson, Crabtree, Macklin, Moore, Torrey Smith, Gates, and Buffalo. So you don't have to say whether that's your actual lineup or not, but, you know, looks like you've got him by 30 points as is, and at least probably 20 when he has a full lineup in.
All right. Hopefully it'll work.
So, all right.
As we know, the projections always hold through.
Oh my gosh. Well, in no more truer than what we're going to go to next, which is Bad Boy League, for sure. And so I'm going to bring up a graphic that shows Bad Boy League, and it's showing all the different team names that we have, all 12 of them. So, yeah. Interested in this. This is, we decided, my 4th year, I guess.
I believe so, and it's my 5th.
Yep. And a lot of the same guys that are in the league we just talked about with the Dynasty deal. So that's fine. I don't know, maybe 8 of them or 6, 7 of them probably.
Yeah, I'd say a little more than half.
So, in this league, this week.
And in this league, everybody's pretty active.
That's true.
The Dynasty one, we've got a couple guys that may be a little questionable with being active. But this one, definitely everybody's active.
Yep. And lots of trading going on between lots of different people and that kind of thing. And so, yeah. So
if you're new to fantasy football and you're watching this or listening to this and you're like, what in the hell did I just get myself into? Actually, this is something that would be something to pay attention to. Really, get into a league with people that want to trade. Don't be in some bunk league that nobody wants to trade and you veto everybody's trades. Get into a league where it's just all about having fun and it keeps up with people who are interested in it. Because if not, you're not getting the full...
Wow. Hold on. Hold the phone. Check.
Like
1,
something
2.
I said?
Everything all right?
Yep.
Cool. I'm not sure that my microphone was active this first part.
Oh.
So that's interesting.
So it was just flashing stuff up that nobody was hearing us?
I'd say that that's a realistic possibility.
Okay.
You know, welcome to cable access where people learn on the job kind of thing. So. I don't know. It would definitely, when I was on camera, it looked like I was talking, so that we had that going for us.
Okay.
And people could hear you. I wonder if maybe people could hear me talking into the phone.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we will.
This show could be way worse than what we even anticipated.
Sorry, you were making a great point, though, about being in an active league.
So, yeah, just get in the league you like, that, people, that they don't hold grudges, and that they veto your trades. I mean, veto and trades should never be allowed in anything, as far as it being up to the league. Get a couple people that you trust are going to, be fair, or just not even worry about it at all, and then just, if somebody makes some boneheaded thing to where they're obviously trying to collude with another individual within the league, then step up and say something. But otherwise, nobody knows any better than anybody else who's going to be good and bad and this and that. So,
well, that's,
have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing I get caught up in, is thinking I'm so much smarter than everything else. And I looked back at a lot of stuff I did last year, making some trades and gambling. But you got to. Sometimes you are correct.
Yeah, no. You gotta roll with it and not look back.
So this, let's see here. We've got. Oh, whoops. What am I trying to do? There we go. Bad Boy League, Argentina Rhinos. And this is your full roster here. And so this league is 12 teams also. It's not a keeper league or of any sort. Redraft, I guess, is the correct way to go.
Yep.
One quarterback, 3 wide receivers, running back, tight end, and then a wide receiver, running back, tight end, flex. With a kicker, yes, and a defense. You don't have a kicker yet for your team.
I did a
Oh, wait,
drop.
you dropped Powell, didn't you?
Yeah, Blau Powell, and picked up Matt Bryant.
Matt Bryant, which is Falcons, right? Still?
Yes.
So that's a dome kicker.
It is. He's also playing my beloved Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately.
Oh, first week, yeah. That's right, not in a dome. So it looks like you've got your lineup set already, pretty solidly here.
Yep. And other than Akeem Nicks, and if he's going to play, and he's a man, he's going to play. Only thing that takes him down is compression syndrome, which nobody's ever heard of except doctors, nurses. So, yeah, I'm feeling great about this one. My weakness, of course, tight end. That's Jermaine Gresham. Be awesome if you started him in your other league, and then I started in this league, and
yeah,
it was just that mixed feelings of having different people on different teams. The same way Akeem Nicks starts for me in this one, and starts for you in the other one.
absolutely.
So,
And I've got Michael Vick, and not the other one, but a different one. It's just like, of course, it's with the way we are, you can't not have somebody everywhere, basically.
right. If you play in more than probably 2 leagues, you're going to have that.
Right. And so I flipped over to my roster. Well, shoot, I'll just do the matchup, I guess. Well, let's look at my bench for a second, too.
It doesn't really matter. You're going to lose.
It's true. We're matched up against one another this week for week 1, so it's the Touchdown Brown versus Argentina Rhinos, and I am definitely lacking in the projections department, which on this particular website I love so very much. So very much. So yeah, I mean, even at my greatest strength, which would be my running backs, I think you're still neck and neck with me. So I don't know what's going to happen there, other than I'm probably going to lose. But I'm going to have to wait until Monday night to do it, probably.
It'll all depend on Vic. If Vic gets hurt and only plays half a game or something, then I'd say you'll get me.
Well, I'm not exactly rooting for that, but
it's always a possibility with Vic.
yeah. So okay.
The other thing would be is you're really hamstrung right now in the way you have your lineup set with Michael Bush as your flex.
Yeah, I've been toying around with that. Let's go back to my...
Stephen Ridley's your play.
I think you're right, especially with Shane Vereen hurt and they're at Tennessee. I don't think I'm going to get what I want out of Michael Bush on a regular basis as a flex. I'm hoping one of those wide receivers becomes my flex. So, yeah.
Really, if I was you, I'd probably just start Shane Vereen.
Now that's some good advice from my opponent this week.
That's right.
Moving on to another area where we are against one another. It's the you versus me. We'll make this really quick because this is just stupid, and I wanted to bring this up to illuminate how badly we delve into fantasy football. But we actually have a league where it's just the gentleman on the phone from Argentina and myself, where we have 4 teams and we each have 2, and then we just go against each other the entire season. We've changed something this year. The last couple of years we've been doing winners and loser teams, where we had specific rules that allowed us to have people that weren't as good as other guys, so that we could try to have the best worst team, whatever. Anyway, this year we're just doing, each of us have 2 strong teams, and I think at the end we're going to trade and each of us build into one super team that will then face off at the end of the season. It's pointless. It's just a lot of fun, and we get to draft really awesome guys. That's probably one of the biggest things about it, other than our addiction to fantasy football and loving drafting and having teams. We actually get to have dream teams, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Sean always enjoys losing to me every year.
It's been a great pleasure of my life to lose to Mr. Argentina every year. But second place looks pretty good in the fantasy profile when people don't know that there's only 4 teams and that the other 2 were trying to lose. So there's that. So that's just silly. That's silliness all around. And then let's see, what else? So that's basically covering our teams, which I think that's what this show is going to set out to do. Like I said, we'd have these conversations every week anyway, and so we're just trying to chronicle it in the event that I end up winning all of these leagues, and Ryan finishes in last place in all of these leagues, and we have this recorded somehow to play back at holiday parties and such.
Right.
So beyond that, I mean, I don't...
It's something I plan on playing if that so happens when you finally graduate with your GED this
We'll play it at my graduation party.
That's right.
That's right. My mother will be so proud. But anyway, I don't even have a lot going on as far as in these particular leagues, there's no waiver wire moves for me. I don't see anything happening. I think that I really hope that Hakeem Nicks plays this week. And I think he will, but I hope that it's not just a super limited amount. Of course, that goes against my team for him to do that, but that's all right. My Cowboys, I mean.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'd say that as we get on into the season and we continue to do this, then we will be talking about things that we'll want to be doing on the waiver wires, and we might even get cocky enough to start offering advice to other people and thoughts, regurgitating things we've heard on podcasts and such. So.
There will be no free thoughts of ideas on this. That's for sure.
No free?
Yeah, it'll all be copied.
That's right. That's right.
And if you're talking about charging, yes, we will charge you for when you actually use our advice.
That's what I was thinking, absolutely. But I guess we can't do that. But we can talk off camera. So, all right, well, I guess that's it for us. Let me pull up my I have a little credit reel. I should just let that play over the top of me so I can see it. Let's see. All right. This is the most professional ending to a show. And, oh, there we go. Worst fantasy football show ever. Produced by your mom, the Fargentina reporter, and Rudy Bora Bora. All right. Good night, everybody. And now I will return you to your